So I actually uninstalled my termux app and some other apps I needed for this stuff, so I could start from scratch. So the first things first, you need to get termux app, and you can get from our Play Store. So look for my Play Store. So search for termux. So termux is more of like a command line system we can use to code on our Android devices. So it gives us most of those command line interface for running Git, Node.js, and other system apps or tools on our mobile phone. I've been using termux for quite a while though. I think 2019 installed the termux. Something else we installed is Aka's keyboard. So Aka's keyboard allows us to use most of those system keyboard commands. You can see all those functions on our system. So install it also. Aka's keyboard is faster than okay. I've installed so something else we need to install is our code editor. Yeah, we basically need this. I already have it installed, so you can install it also. So I think we'll get back to termux now. Move fast. So look for termux. Look for termux. Yes, termux. I think termux is here. So where termux is, I can't touch it. So termux is going to try to install some bootstrap, and we're going to install Git and openssh. Now Git, why we're using openssh is for us to connect our GitHub over HTTPS site. Git has disabled using, no, they have not disabled currently, but are going to disable logging in with password, as they say it is not secured. So we use openssh to generate device related keys and stuff. So in order to, before we can do anything, usually whenever you open termux or probably any Linux and stuff, you need to ensure that your internal packages are up to date. So in order to do that, we need to up to date, and I'm going to use a shortcut to upgrade also. So for those, I think I already ran this before, so you see it take shorter time. That is why I think I'm having an issue. Okay, yeah, there was an error there. It's not supposed to be. So I have app update, so there should be a space, and app no upgrade. Yeah, so take note. So I already ran those commands before, that's why it's faster on my system. So now for us to install openssh and git, this is what we need. This command apt install open, let's install git, apt install git open ssh. I'm going to highlight the command for you. Then I can highlight stuff. So you can see where I am, apt install git. You see the command over the screen when I'm editing the video. Okay, so it might take longer time on your system because I already installed them before I deleted them. So in order to confirm that you successfully install git, you run this command. Tells you the recent version of this git. So one thing you need to do whenever you install git in any environment is git usually wants to know who you are, who is running this particular version of git. So you can set all those. If not, whenever you are going to work or you are going to be pushing and doing stuff, it will always be asking you for this information. But in order to avoid all those kind of questions, you can set it from here. So git config minus global user.name. So your github username, put it in the string coder for Christ. This is not my actual github username though, it's just a text account. Git config your github email, where's my settings coder for Christ at gmail.com. So with that, you have been able to set up tell Git that user we are coder for Christ and other stuff. My battery is low. Okay, power bank has died. Interesting. So now, next we are going to do is to set up openssh. So from that link, I think I'm going to copy a command from the link that was set on our to the group chat. And after I install Git, then okay, one thing we need to do first of all is to allow termux to be able to access our directory, so our Android directory. So in order to do that, we need to run this command termux-setup-storage. So it might likely ask for permission. So you click allow. So when you click allow, you see when you type ls, you see storage. And this storage leads you to your Android files. Now I need to explain something. Files created on termux cannot be accessed through your document on your Android file folders, but file you create in your folders can be accessed through termux can access them. So in order to access probably my downloads in my file folder, I need to enter into storage. So cd means to enter into directory. So cd into storage directory. Then I have to look at ls means to list all the files and folders within this inside this storage directory. So you see we have downloads and stuff, but then these are just the basic stuff. So we need to now to see some other documents, you need to go into shared. then I'll list all the files under shared. I see now. So for me, I can access all my files and folder, but once I go back, so in order to go back to the beginning, you can just see the dollar home, take me back to the, so what, any file I create from this point or folder cannot be accessed by my Android device. So know that. So in order to create files, in case you need to use on termux, you can use touch.file.js and see file.js has been created. And in order to edit, you use nano. I don't know if nano was installed here. Okay, nano is installed. So if you see I made a mistake in the file name, instead of js I use look at the top file.js, so to create it as a new file, but since I'm not saving the file, it's just to show you how you could do that. So now let's go back and copy the command I wanted to copy on generating so I'm going to copy this command. So with this command we can create a public keys that we can use to connect to GitHub. So in this place, now I think I'll show you how you can activate your, so I need that Aka's keyboard. You see my current keyboard can't support some stuff, so I need to switch to that Aka's keyboard. So let me search for Aka's keyboard to enable it. Now to use Aka's keyboard, you need to enable it. So I've enabled Aka's keyboard. Then there's some configuration I want to do, so you can click on settings here, then come down to this point. Where is this stuff? The style of the keyboard. I want to change. Okay, where's this stuff? Okay, I think it's keyboard mode, and so you can choose full 5 row layout. We can see what full 5 row layout is. So here I'm going to switch to Aka's keyboard here. So this is a full 5 row layout. See, I have all my controls and stuff. In your phone it can be bigger than this. I don't know why they're tiny, but I think this suffices for what I need. So since I've done this now, I can come here and edit. So I'm going to put my GitHub Gmail here. So Coda for Christ. So ignore the previous command. We shouldn't run that command in our stuff. Supposed to open our SSH files and run the command there. So the SSH file is already here. So but it's an hidden file. In order to view an SSH file or hidden files, you add ls-a flag to ls and you see the SSH file. So we need to enter into this SSH file. So the SSH. I'll click ls. So yes, now we're going to generate a key. So in order to generate a key, we'll use this command. I'm coming. We'll get to this command. Yep. So this is the command ssh keygen -t rsc -c. So in the attached file I was sent with this video, the command is the attached file. You can also find the command in the link someone sent, or the website I am visiting also, the command and there. So here you see this coder for Christ at gmail.com. Replace it with your own email. So don't type anything, just click enter, and we have generated our public key. So if you click ls, you see our id underscore rsc.pub. So we are basically interested in the content of this particular file. This rsc.pub. So we're interested in this file. This is what we're interested in, what is inside. So in order to open it, we could use nano, but rather than issue copying the content of this file. So let me say nano id underscore rsa dot so I had an issue copying it. So what I did was to move this file to my what do you call it, copy, not to move. I copied this file from termux to my shared storage, where I could access it from a text editor and copy the content well. So in order to copy, you use this command cp, which to copy, then cp, and then after you type cp, what follows after is the name of the file you are copying. For me is or the path to the file you are copying from. So for me is underscore rsa.pub. I want to copy, and destination of where I want to copy to, or the destination of where I want to copy to. So I want to copy to my storage, and storage is one directory outside of SSH. So that's why I have to use two ducts to ensure that I'm going outside of SSH. Then I'm going to storage, I'm going to shared. As you can see, so it will copy this into my shared files. So it has copied it now. So let's go and open it. So if I open my file system, so if I go to my file manager and go to all files, go to internal storage and come down, you see it here. Look at the file here. This is the file. But then I need to open this file with a code editor so I can copy the content. So the code editor I asked also to download that time shows our code editor. This is what I'm going to use to open the file and copy the content. So I'll open a select SD memory file. So I'll come down here and look for IDs. So this is the file, okay, and I'll copy the content, everything inside. Now select all and select all and copy. So after copying this stuff, all next we're going to do is to add on to our your GitHub account. I think I'm logged into my GitHub in one of these tabs. Yep. So when you go to your GitHub account, you go to settings. And when you come down, you see SSH and user. Come down I already have an SSH key before, but I'm going to delete it. I'll create a new SSH key. Paste. So these are your SSH keys should look like. So don't bother, I'm going to change this stuff later if you think you want to hack into my so by the time you are viewing this video, I've already changed this stuff. So termux-SSH. So I'll add SSH key. So the SSH key has been directly added. So in order for me to test if it works, I think there's a command I need to run, one SSH command. I need to copy that command from this site. Okay, yep. So now I've copied that command, SSH key. So let's go back to termux and paste, run it. Yes. Type in yes, not so I've logged in to my GitHub account now. So probably a git little git crash course. So let's create a directory. So make directory front end project. So make a directory ls. Now I made my directory my SSH files, which is not supposed to be so I'm going to delete it. So this how to delete a folder. I'm not supposed to create a project here. You can do, but it's not advisable because this usually contains sensitive stuff. So I need to go back, then create to my normal. So I can actually create this file in my storage, so I can access it from my code editor. So see the storage, do ls to view them, enter into probably our shared document, ls. So I can create this file here, so this directory here instead, make directory front-end project. So ls, so we're going to look for this directory we just created and see if it has been created. Yeah, look at it here, front-end project. Yep, this is basically the front-end project. That is it. So now we're going to enter into this front-end project to create our files. So now to initialize a Git project, or to tell that okay, Git should track. No, remember that Git is a version control system, so it helps to track changes in our project as we go along. Know who did this, who did that, when did we do this, and we're able to switch between all these changes more of like time travel though. So so I'm going in order to tell Git track this particular files, so it makes sense that many folders on your phone that are not necessarily for code so you don't actually need Git to track them. So the files and folders you need to track, you need to tell Git track these files. In order to do that, you have to enter into that folder, then type Git in it. So when you type Git in it, this error will throw, and mainly what this error is throwing is there's something we call branch. So the branch is a play a how would I put it now? People watch Avengers, or we have multiple realities and stuff. So let's assume a branch holds a reality of. Let's assume that we have one main branch, which are in our master branch, which is our current planet Earth. So there is another reality again, which is more often like a copy of our main branch. So we have another second planet Earth also having probably in the past or in the future. You get. So we can this planet Earth, our current, which is our master branch, can update, and the second planet Earth, which is on that branch, might be in the past, and us like that. I hope you get if I'm confusing you. So GitHub changed the name from master to main, so that's why you see this error. So it's basically not really a big error also, so you can ignore it. It's just a warning, not an error, just a warning also. So now we're going to create 3 files. Normally for normal HTML this thing, we need a CSS file and HTML file. So touch style the CSS index. Let me move this thing up. The HTML. So I think that those files have been created. Now Git has different stages. We have the commit stage, and we have the staging this stuff. So before you to be able to push a file, you need GitHub, the tracking stage. You need GitHub to be able to track that your files. So you need to stage that file. So in order to stage that file, you can do git add. Like now, if I do, in order to check your file status on what Git is watching, use git status. And you see Git is telling us that we have index.html and style.cs, but it's not tracking them. So in order to track them, you need to stage them, and the command to stage is using git add. So probably I want to start tracking style.css. I can do git add style.css, then check git status. And you see we're having a new file now. Is in a it has been staged. So in the stage place, there are 3 different I think we have 3 different features of a stage file. It can be new, it can be deleted, and it can be modified. So what is a new file? So we have not started tracking our index.html. In order to track our index.html, sometimes you might have so many files you are working with, different CSS files and that, and adding them one by one might be so much. So there's a shortcut in adding all those files within this directory. So use the period. So git add, or remember the full stop, a space after the full stop. Now this will add both our index.html and every other files that are within here. So now, but then Git has not actually stopped these changes, these new files we created. So in order to make this stuff to be permanent, we need to commit them. So we use this git commit mechanism to indicate, we leave a commit message to show, okay, what have we done, what did we change A short commit message should be brief and short, something you could remember also. So this is our first commit. We didn't really do anything big. So git commit -m initial commits. So there's a workshop videos on Git. You can go through that workshop video later. Probably ask me for the link. So this is our first commit. So now this file only exists on our local Android storage now. So in order to push it to our GitHub, we need to create a repo on GitHub account. This is my Chrome. This is my GitHub. This is what I'm looking for. So I will need to go and create go to my account, repository. I want to create a new one. Let's call it the same name as what we call it. So it can be different name though. So front-end project. Click create repository. So you see where we have HTTPS. You click it. Where you have SSH. So this is what we're going to use. This command, just copy it, click here and copy. Then come back to our termux and paste it, click enter. And see we have pushed our changes up very quick. Remember when it came here now, if I should refresh this page, you will see our files that we created now. So when I click view code, you see our index.html and style.css. So I think that will be all. These are to connect to your GitHub using your SSH stuff.